Welcome to the Online Entrepreneur Experience podcast that details the ins and outs, the how-tos, and the ups and downs of living a life of an online business owner. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Online Entrepreneur Experience. Again, I'm Deuces. That's Mark Wilson, aka the Viking Marketer. And we're here to talk to you again and again, and we're gonna keep coming. So strap in.
We're relentless, baby.
We're gonna go that extra 2% for you on this one, especially. And that's ironically, I didn't do that on purpose at all. I swear to God.
No.
What we want to talk to you about this week, guys, is going the extra 2%, doing that last little bit that's going to take 5 times the effort, but it could yield you 10 times the result. What do you think about that, Mark?
I think that's the way that I've shifted my whole life. Honestly, it's crazy that we just don't think this way on a day-to-day basis, right? Like what you're doing right now in your life, you're fine, right? Like everyone's fine. Like everyone's alive, they're breathing. Like that's minimum effort, I would say, like putting out there. I mean, you could do less, I'm sure. But to survive, I'm sure you're not at your full capacity. I don't I've never met a single person other than like super high performers that are millionaires that have not been at their max capacity. And they even say that they're not at their max capacity. So you just watching this, like, I'm sure you're not there, but whatever the results that you're getting right now, probably because you haven't put that little bit of extra in there. And no matter what you say or what you're telling yourself a story, that you're like, I'm trying really hard. A lot of times, like I hear this, and I'm sure Renee hears this all the time too. And I know this because we joke around about it all the time. It's one of those things I hear people all the time. I'm really busy. I'm trying my best. I'm really hard. And they're all just bullshit stories, essentially, that we're telling ourselves to make ourselves feel better for essentially not going that extra 2%, or like in some cases 20%, but we're really focused on that last 2% here.
Yeah, and I know it sounds so aggressive when we say, oh, go that last 2%. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that you need to be balls to the walls, hitting your head against the wall, just to give it everything you got, because that has its moment. But I'm just talking about even just being as organized as possible to reach every step that you need to reach for that day to make your goals happen. That's what I'm talking about. And the last 2%, even though it takes 5 times the effort, typically, these are just numbers that we're just pulling up, by the way. It does take a little bit more effort to go from 98% to 100 than it does from 0 to 98, if that makes sense.
Yeah, massively. And I think a lot of it comes down to intentionality, right? So like if you're just going through the motions, which the most of people that work a job, and I know this was me, like when I used to work a job, like I would just go through the motions every single day, like wake up. Like my intention was literally just to like get through the day so I could get to the next day. So like there was no real like intention of like success, happiness, abundance, anything other than like survival. Like my goals every day was just surviving the day, which is just like, honestly, when you look back at it, it's like heartbreaking, right? And I'm sure most people listening to this can relate. It's just like they're just surviving. They're just going through each day. And I didn't have any intention behind what I was doing. But like even like say making your kids a sandwich, right? Like you can just make your kids a sandwich, or you can do it intentionally. Like why are you making the sandwich, and how can you do it to that level? So like making a sandwich, yeah, like say it's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's my oldest son's favorite sandwich. He likes peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So if I just put peanut butter and jelly on it and gave it to him, like that's fine. Like he's going to survive. He's going to get what he wants, all that kind of stuff, right? But he likes more peanut butter than jelly. He likes his things cut in triangles instead of like a cross. So if I went into it just being like, I'm making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, put the peanut butter and the jelly on it, slap it in front of him, like that's fine. The job gets done. But if I'm like, okay, I'm going to slap on extra peanut butter, one more slide of that, and then put the jam on, and then I properly cut the bread for him and bring it to him, it probably took me double the amount of time, if not more, because of having to make this silly sandwich a little bit different. But my intention was to give the best product to my son, even if he notices or not, because my intention is to be a great dad.
Yeah. And I mean, you are a great dad. I've seen you with your kids and they just absolutely adore you. So, I mean, you putting that extra peanut butter is really upped their love for you. It brought it to a whole new level.
I would just be like something else. It's just like, man, Dad.
Yeah, that's right. So having that intentionality when you're doing things, like it's funny that you say that with the sandwich, because I do the same thing with my daughter when I'm teaching her math and she's writing down the numbers. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. You got the answer correct, but let's just take a little extra time to have nice, clean, organized writing, just so that it's something you can be proud of, that when you hand it in, the teacher doesn't have to sit there and decipher the hieroglyphics that you just wrote down. So that going forward throughout your adult life, you're teaching them that same intentionality with everything that they do, so that they too will go that extra 2%.
Yeah. But we're there, like the people that are listening to this are like your children, right?
Essentially.
Yeah.
just call me your spirit daddy.
Daddy, I love it.
Getting off topic and losing my train of thought.
Sorry, bro. I know I do that to you.
It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, teaching your kids that intentionality is going to ultimately help them avoid that monotonous day after day, just like Mark was saying, just trying to survive the day. Because when I was working a full-time job, it got to a point where I had to be at work at 6:00, and I would wake up with just enough time to brush my teeth, get dressed, get in the truck, and get to work. And I'm like pushing it. Like it's 5:58.
Bro,
So
I was the exact same way though, man. Like, but like I started pushing it so far by the end, I was supposed to like show up at 7:30 to open up the shop that opened at 8, and sometimes I wouldn't show up until 7:45. But no one knew because I was the one opening up the shop.
Because all the other employees are just barely making it there too, so it's all good, right?
Yeah.
But you ever notice that, I don't know if you're in this spot in your life right now with your job, if you are just giving yourself enough time like I was. But at the beginning of you having this job, you probably showed up 15 minutes early, ready to go. You woke up early enough to eat breakfast, have a coffee. But as time progresses, you then start to, just try to survive the day. Now imagine living your life with the same intention that you had when you started that job. Excited to be there, excited to be doing something new and building something for yourself. That's my everyday. That's Mark's every day. I know it because he texts me at freaking 5:30, 6:00 in the morning. Hey, bro, just went to the gym. Just jazzed.
Bro, like how much caffeine have you had? Oh, actually, I haven't had any caffeine yet today. Why do you say that?
That reminds me, I need a coffee.
Yeah.
So I hate the fact that I lived my life like that. And for so many years I did that. And I wish, like, that's the regret. We talked a couple weeks ago. Actually, we just released it. Was it today or yesterday? You put out our last one on discipline.
Yes. No, that was Friday.
Friday. Okay. So we just did a video about discipline and we talked basically about the same thing. Setting reminders and being intentional with everything that you want to do. This just takes it a little step further. You can have all the intentions in the world, but if you're only doing 80%, 90%, you're not getting ahead. You're what I call spinning the wheels. You're just going through the motions.
Oh, 1000%, man. And if you talk to anybody that's super successful, they all will like talk to you about intention. Like Oprah, like legitimately before any meeting starts, if you have a meeting with Oprah, she stops the whole meeting before until everyone goes around the table and says what their intention is in the meeting. She will not do a meeting unless everybody has said that. And I mean, Oprah is arguably the most successful woman on this planet, right? And there's a reason for it, is because that's the presence that these people put out, right? And that's the little bit extra. Like, could she just jump into meetings? For sure. For sure,
Yeah.
she could just jump into the meetings, but she stops the meeting, spends her time listening to why other people are in a meeting, because it actually does matter. Like, that's the stuff that matters. You may not think at this moment in time this matters to you, but it does in such a massive way that you're missing out. And that's where that 2% is. And that's why you're not reaching those things. You may be a 10 out of 10 person and be in a 5 out of 10 opportunity. And I was talking to Renee about this earlier today, is, there's lots of people in 10 out of 10. They are 10 out of 10, but they're in a 5 out of 10 opportunity. Like, they deserve to get paid more, treated better, like work less, all of these different things. But the place and the opportunity that they're in currently does not match their potential, does not match who they are. And most people in a job or in an opportunity can be a 10 out of 10. Maybe not in the place that you're at right now, but at some place, they can be a 10 out of 10. But the problem is they're so trapped within that they won't go pursue that. And that's where you're gonna, if you go pursue that and you have two things in every single one of your days, if you have learning and revenue generating, and those two things are in your control towards your end result, you're going to be able to get to that, like that extra 2%.
Yeah, and it just comes naturally if you're living the life, kind of like Mark here, just super intentional, and you are, you're either learning or you're generating some sort of revenue every single day. You're winning. You are winning, because even though you might not be winning right now, if you keep going with that trend, you will. Like, it's inevitable that you will win. So that's what we're trying to get to when we're talking about intention, going that extra 2%. And like I said before, it's not a big, aggressive, hard skill that I want you to gain. It's just do everything to the best of your ability. That's that extra 2%.
And if that becomes the habit, then like naturally you just start doing those things. It's not like this friction in your brain, because right now, if you stop yourself from how you drive to work, and if your drive to work, you now change to like, this is my learning session, where I start like listening to a podcast, maybe this podcast all the time, download
probably this one.
Plug it in. But like, if that's just like your means every single day, that like, I'm going to take this 10, 15 minutes, or maybe it's an hour, that I'm going to learn, I'm going to grow, I'm going to maximize this time, instead of listening to music, listening to the news, like things that like are monotonous and not really going to help you get to where you want to go. And you start like just doing these little things, everything in your life will end up shifting. And then all of a sudden you just start maximizing all your time and producing so much more with your time. So then you do get to have, like we talked about on the last episode, that life that you've designed. But you have to actually do those first steps of creating the habits and making it habitual, that you're doing that extra 2%, where you're getting that, like, usually you do that extra 2%, but you get like a 20% return.
Yeah. And on the other side of that coin, if you are just going through the motions and you're living a very monotonous day in, day out type life, getting by doing just bare minimum because you're paid by the hour, so it doesn't matter if you excel or not, your checks are the same. When you are living that life long enough, you start to develop those habits, and that will stem into any sort of side hustle that you're doing, or if you are starting a fitness plan or anything like that. That same mentality is going to carry through, because you have not built up that skill set by making going that extra 2% a habit, and continuously habitual habit. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's doubling down, bro. You went that extra 2% on that point.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what was that saying that I said to you a few months ago? It's like, don't practice something till you're good at it. Practice something till you can't get it wrong.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
And
actually, like I know, like a lot of guys, like within their like every business has some type of sales force. Like there's not a single business out there that doesn't have a sales force. They may call it a customer service force. They may call it something else. But there's every business has a sales force, right? It's just sometimes camouflaged. But like there's a lot of people that most people they run their like high end sales teams where every day they practice the exact same scripts that they're going to be doing for what their routine is, and it's just like their calls that they're supposed to be doing with their clients or whatever it is. They practice them until they don't get it wrong. That day, they have to say like get it 3 times right in a row, and with the right tonality, not just the right words, but the right tonality, with the right cadence, all of those type of things. And if you get it wrong, you start from the bottom. You have to get it 3 times before you can even start your day. But that's like making sure that you're primed and cued. So when you do go into battle, you are prepped and ready to go. So you're not gonna make those mistakes, right?
yeah, that makes total sense. And that's putting in the reps and turning it into a habit so that it just becomes second nature.
Yeah.
And then if winning at life becomes second nature, can you imagine? You don't even have to think about it, and you're just driving up to the mall and you're find the rock star parking is what I like to call it. Just right up front, no one's around. Parking lot's packed except for that one spot right up front just for you. That's winning at life, in my opinion.
VIP, baby.
I feel like a rock star.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. But in the end of the day, you just have to put in the work first. And like everyone, like this is not going to be easy. I did like my other podcast, Thor Thunder Thoughts. I did a podcast on that earlier today. Is just like things that are simple and things that are easy are not the same. Like simple and easy are 2 different things. So what Renee and me are talking about right now sounds super simple, right? Like it's super simple to just think before you do everything and go with it with intention and whatnot. Like it sounds like just like the easiest thing. And I know the way that we present it is a very simplistic way. It's because we're trying to make it easy for you to digest it. But then when you go and put it out, like it's not going to be easy every single time. You're going to fail a whole bunch. So just expect that, but give yourself grace along with it. Like things that are simple aren't always easy. Most times they're not.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I was actually reading an article the other day about the difference between simple and easy. And it's amazing how many people put them in the same category because I don't know the Oxford Dictionary definition of.
Bro, this is why they show up, man. You need to know these things.
Well, give me a minute. Let me hop on my phone. But there is a big difference between them. Something that is easy, it doesn't sit well with me. I prefer the word simple. If something is simple to do, like, I don't know, writing your own name is simple. But starting a business in the online world is not simple. I wouldn't even say it's easy either, but there is work involved and there is that intention behind it and everything with all your daily habits. But the difference between simple and easy, they are different. And I am so sorry I don't know the definitions, but I will do better for next time. If you're that curious, search it up, put it in the comments, and see if you can get it faster than I do.
I love it. I love it. But in the end of the day, guys, like it's all about giving yourself grace, like honest to God grace. Like just like understand it. And Renee and me rip on each other all the time. We make mistakes all the time, and then we rip on each other. But it's not like we're ripping on each other like saying like you're actually garbage. We're ripping on each other because it's just like it's actual grace that we're doing. We're making it comical that we made the mistake, because in the end of the day, it's trivial. It doesn't matter. We're probably never going to make that mistake again, and now we're going to get better. But it's funny that we made the mistake because we're human, right? So just give yourself that grace, and the more that like you make it easier to do those things, it's going to be easier to do more. and then things will be not simple things will become easier. And then you, like Renee was saying, you're going to be on the highway to success, the highway to the rock star parking at all times, right?
That's right.
I love it. I love it. Well, I think we wrap this one up. Was there any last points that you wanted to add or anything like that, my man?
No, I think we kind of hit all the points I wanted to hit today, other than my definitions. And again, I apologize profusely. But yeah, I know. I think that's it for us today, guys. Don't forget to like, share, hit the bell notification, and also leave a comment. Let me know what your definition for simple is, or if you prefer easy. I would love to hear it. But until next time, guys.
Thanks for tuning into the Online Entrepreneur Experience. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes that we're releasing and any of these amazing pieces of value that we're giving out. And if you could take the time out of your day and leave us a review, we would be so grateful. We look forward to seeing you on that next episode.